We're just vibing.
Just vibes, chatting. Hello everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Best Rivals. I'm your ever humble host, and I am, as always, joined by Hudi, but not Ben. Instead, we've replaced Ben with Katie of Late Night fame. Say hello, Katie.
Sup, nerds?
Oh, damn. And I would be remiss to not say hello, Hudi.
Hello.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. I got a coffee. I'm ready to go.
Whoa. Ben
I
has
do
had...
not have a coffee.
Yeah, I don't think... Well, you do drink coffee, don't you, Hudi?
Yeah, but it is past coffee drinking time.
That's fair. I remember you didn't drink coffee, and then... Because a little bit of Best Rivals lore, Hudi and I were in the same college. So I remember you didn't drink coffee, and then one day in like our second or third year, you were like, I've begun. My life is different now.
Yeah, it was the second year thermodynamics class that brought that on, which, horrible. In hindsight, I enjoyed the class. It was just, a lot.
I get that. Though my classes were probably less that. Because they were about words and not thermodynamics.
We are like not even 2 minutes into an episode with Katie, and we're already talking about coffee. She's wrangled us. We don't have Ben today because he got an offer to go to space, and so obviously he took that over going with Best Rivals.
Oh, that's what he told you. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
He really does not have his priorities straight.
Yeah, well, I kind of understand. Like, I would be conflicted. I think I would still stick with the Best Rivals, but unless the seat was going to be empty if I didn't go, if they didn't have a replacement, I wouldn't want them to just be sending out an empty spaceship. That feels like a waste.
That's where we differ. I'm loyal to this. I know what's required.
He doesn't give the kisses. But he gives the devotion.
What's worth more?
What keeps a marriage going? That's deep. That's got me thinking. That's got me pondering.
Are you married to the grunts, or are you guys married to each other? What's the marriage?
Yeah,
I don't think this is a conversation for episode 11.
We're not talking about love today, Katie. There's no love talk. There's no space for love talk in Pokemon. Although today is another loose episode, because I would hate to have Katie on an episode and not get her Pokemon origin story. And also, Katie is our resident, along with Jen, our resident artiste. So we're gonna have to pick your brain on a little bit of Pokemon art and aesthetics and opinions. But first, I'd like to ask you how you got into Pokemon, and what's your favorite? Is your first Pokemon game your favorite generation?
The way I truly got into Pokemon was like older kids in the gaggle of we're having a big party with several different friends, kids just go off into the woods or whatever and don't die, please. And so watching over people's shoulders as they played on the little Game Boy Colors of Pokemon Yellow, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, as a small child. And then I got given an old Game Boy Color, the Advance had already come out, but I got given by a teenager in the neighborhood a Game Boy Color with a bunch of games, including Red and Blue. So my first game was Red and Blue.
Original Red and Blue?
Yes, the big chunk. And I had a link cable so I could trade to myself.
Oh,
I think, yeah. And my brother did play on one of the cartridges for a little bit, but he pretty quickly abandoned it, so I was able to sort of get it over there and
hoard it all.
Yeah. Listen though, I may or may not have beaten Misty for the first time with a Charizard and nothing else.
I was gonna say how you're first, because mine's was very much like a single Pokemon going through.
I definitely caught more as the game went on, but up until that point, it was pretty much just the Charmander and I was like, oh no, it's a water gym, what do I do? And instead of catching another Pokemon, I sort of just trained up the one I had, and then he was a Charizard by the time we finally beat that gym. And I was like, this is good.
Wow.
Also, the first Charmander I had was named Zippo.
Really? Wow, okay.
So that's what I named my Charmander for the league, the Pokemon League for Kanto.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, what goes with Zippo? Oh, I should do other like objects because Zippo like the lighter. And so that's what determined my nicknaming scheme.
That's a cute little reference.
Yeah, yeah.
So your first like Pokemon playthrough is similar to Hudie's, because you also had your Torterra that you like swept the Sinnoh region with, right?
Yeah.
I definitely had to get more Pokemon after that.
I think that's where it differs, where I just put it all on Torterra, because I didn't get to the point where it was like a Torterra at a very early point. It kind of evolved into Torterra around where it should have. I was just brute forcing everything else.
Original Red and Blue going through with the Fire Starter is very unfortunate because the first two gyms and like going through a cave and stuff, like it's rough out there.
And does that make Kanto your favorite region, or?
And then the next gym. Sorry, I'll answer that. But then the next gym, Surge, I couldn't get in through the puzzle. Like it just, I was like,
that one.
I was
crazy.
just so unlucky that I couldn't get in. That I figured out a way to get to just go to the next gym. So I didn't even beat the third gym until like later.
Back.
Yeah, I had to go back because like you can get the fourth gym badge without the third one. I just couldn't get into the stupid. It was
also unfortunate because you didn't fight Surge. You said that it was already a Charizard when you beat Misty, so by the time you got to Surge, Charizard was also weak to Surge.
Yeah. Like I said, I think I had to get more I do think I got a Diglett at one point, so probably was okay by that point, but
this game's really hard, and then someone else started with a Bulbasaur, and they were like, I don't know, it's pretty easy, actually. I've had no trouble with the gyms.
And then I think I did play whichever cartridge, I did definitely use the other one, was with Squirtle, and I was like, this is different. And then, like, I never owned a Game Boy Advance, so, like, the next one I played was, like, I think Black and White, but then like I had lots of friends who.
Whoa.
Yeah. I know.
Massive jump. Oh my.
But like I had friends who played all the other ones, so I sort of have seen and helped them through. You know what I mean? So I like sort of know what happens in those, even if I didn't like play through them myself until like years later. Not on the original console.
Yeah, I had a Game Boy Advance, but I wasn't into Pokemon at that time. And so it was when I got the DS that it was like Sinnoh and Unova.
Yeah.
And then I went back and played. So which one would you say was your favorite?
Here's the problem.
Okay.
Is like 2 months ago I would have said Johto. I don't know if I feel the same way now. because of the league.
Because I also love Johto a lot. Heart Gold Soul Silver is like one of my favorites. I feel like the way we're doing it worked really well for Kanto. I don't really understand why. I guess because Kanto is so open in the middle that we were able to like do the optimal route.
Because we've already done Kanto, there's a lot of repeat Pokemon that would be exciting to unlock, but aren't because we've already had them. And then for some reason, there's just a lot of really weak Pokemon and a really strong Pokemon and not a lot of mid.
Very little balance in Gen 4 Johto remix. It's horrible.
Yeah,
I want to say Johto, but right now me and Johto are having problems. We're going through some stuff.
Not too many kisses, not enough devotion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen, Wooper is, an important thing to exist in this world, but... Listen, Johto's the region of just little guys, and I love them all.
You were so excited for it, yeah.
Yeah!
Anytime anyone bashed Johto, you were the defender.
Yeah. And I'm still the Zubat defender. You guys are all way too mean to Zubat. I will not stand for this slander.
I like Golbat and Crobat, but Zubat himself just...
Come on, if you can't have them at your Zubat... Then you don't deserve the Crobat!
let the record show that I've never said anything bad about Zubat.
I acknowledge this. This is true. This is why I like you.
He's a bat and he's blind. Wow.
What's the newest Pokemon game you played?
Scarlet. I didn't finish it.
Oh, you played it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's partway through. I don't remember how much of the stuff I've done. I've gotten pretty far, but I didn't get to like the end game area. I don't know if you know about the end game of that one.
I know the like peninsula, the like center.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that yet. Like I finished up 1 or 2 of the storylines, but I haven't done whatever the third one is that I've been putting off.
You don't,
I think
on this show, Katie, you don't have to worry about talking about stuff I don't know because I don't know anything.
Okay.
Me and Ben have been lying to Michael for the past 10 episodes.
Pokemon was crazy.
Izzy was actually just, he owned a coffee shop. That was it.
Madness. I can't wait going through Johto to see the champion, Lance.
Yes,
kill a guy.
That is after the battles this week.
Oh, cool.
So,
okay.
Get ready.
Good.
I think we should postpone the race until that point so we can all experience it together.
We can all watch a man die together.
I'll tease that out. We'll figure that out.
Every episode we've posted of this show, I always know that Katie will have an opinion on it and be like, "You didn't mention this thing." I really quickly want to like run through a bunch of the questions we've done of like.
Well, this is the recap episode.
Yeah, this is the run through memory lane. I just because I'm curious, not even for like to pad the episode. It's just because I want to know like what your favorite Pokemon, like if you had to pick a top 3, but also what would your type be if you had to go with a type?
Oh god.
Like if
we're literally having you run through everything that we've done so far.
I'm just
want to know. I'm interested.
This is terrible. I already am bad at making decisions, and now you're making me make all the decisions at once.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I also cheated on the answers. I think I gave 3 favorite types, and I gave like 10 favorite Pokemon.
Yeah, I do love the Zubat line. I used to say my favorite was either Jolteon or like one of either the Charmander line or the Cyndaquil line. I do really like Zubat. I like all of the bats. Actually, they're all very great. Wooper's great. I also have a soft spot for the Hydreigon? What's the Unova dragon line? Because they're that weird mix of edgy and goofy that I do really like. This is so many Pokemon.
Like his first form has like the hair goes over his eyes.
Yeah. And then it's just there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then his hands are like little Muppet faces. Hilarious.
Okay, I'm building a profile here. Okay.
I also love the sheep. I love the sheep. I love the bats. I love fuzzy little friends. That's the problem.
Just like animals.
There's so many good Pokemon is the problem. And like, I haven't even touched on Ghost Pokemon. I think Ghost would be probably my top types because a lot of them are just fun. And I feel
like there's not enough Ghost types.
That's true. Like the first generations, there's like 2.
Yeah.
But like Chandelure, we love Chandelure in this house.
Champion.
Like Bannet is fun. Shuppet's a little guy. Sablei's Ghost, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have a backpack that has a bunch of ghosties on it, and I'm like, I love them all.
You do dress up as a Ghost type trainer would in a Pokemon game with just.
I have a shirt that's even more Pokemon trainer, but it is blue. It is green and blue, I think. I also like Fire type and Electric type a lot.
Do you have a Pokemon that your like favorite design Pokemon in a way if like you would have made it completely different, but you love the way they did it? Because you've also designed like not official ones, but you've made your own little like line of Pokemon. Your little mushroom guys, weren't they?
Yeah, I have a few Fakemon I've made.
Fakemon, yeah. See, Katie knows the lingo.
Lingo. Yeah, I've made a few. I've made a little mushroom line. Before Sword and Shield came out, I made like a weird little Cheshire Cat Jester thing because there was a big surge of everybody making fake Pokemon for the new one. Let's see. Your question was very
good.
What was it? Good? Yeah. No. Design I like, but like I wouldn't do it that way.
That you saw and you were like, oh, this isn't like you heard the name, you knew what type, and the idea you had was completely different from what it actually was.
I'm not gonna lie, usually I want to look at the pretty pictures first, so I usually see the design first before I learn the other things about Pokemon.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm like looking at Pokemon.
Going through the list.
I'm like, oh, there's too many of them.
Just to make it more awkward, I have a few Pokemon that I'm just gonna like name, and you say yes or no.
Okay.
So the first one is going to be Piloswine.
Katie's like me. Katie's like me. Where did they name a Pokemon? I have to look it up.
Okay. No.
Oh.
Okay. Hisuian Growlithe.
Growlithe, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Specifically the one from Legends Arceus.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And my last one, okay, this is going to be a couple ones because they're kind of the same. It's 4 Ultra Beasts. Okay, I've got Blacephalon.
Oh god, I don't know what any of the Ultra Beasts look like.
Okay.
Not me googling Ultra Beasts.
It's fine.
Yeah. I've got the page up.
Okay, Blacephalon first. Michael likes this Pokemon a lot.
What? Oh, the clown?
Yeah, Firework Clown, yeah.
Yes?
Really?
Okay.
You're crazy.
What? Listen here, this one is like it's weird, but there should be weird Pokemon. Does that make sense?
This is good data, that's all I'm going to say. Celesteela.
No, well, can I say,
Yeah, works. Kartana.
Yes.
And finally, there are others that are in the what I'm thinking of, but we'll just go with Nihilego as the last one.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. There's so many. There's so many.
Yeah. Katie's profile of Pokemon that are very likely for Katie to like are Pokemon without eyes or without visible eyes.
What do you...
That's great. Katie does never make eye contact with me. That's true.
I just don't
You
make
have
eye
just
contact,
been-
I guess. It's weird.
You've been psychologically profiled.
Okay. That's interesting. Here's the thing. Some Pokemon designs, I'm like, this isn't my favorite, but
Yeah,
I'm glad it exists.
Get critical. What Pokemon designs do you
no.
hate?
Do I hate?
It's a question we haven't done, but I can't
Oh,
resist
God.
going to it.
I mean, okay, listen. Not a huge fan of Jinx.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Jinx is a hate crime. It's
Pinsir's on the fence, and I just got given
Whoa.
one. I don't like the way its mouth move.
whoa.
I'm just like very quickly scrolling through a list to see if there's any that catch my eye.
Okay, that's near the end of the Gen 1 Pokemon. So
Snubble is like fine. I don't know.
You had a Snubble.
I
You
did.
were the one that
I
introduced
did.
Snubble to the last league.
Yeah. That's
You
true, that's
you
true.
turned my opinion of Snubble around.
Well, that's the thing. Well, because I was running around in the grass and the things kept thunder punching me, and I was like, maybe I've ridden you off because you're a weird little thing. And then I was like, actually, this is great. You've redeemed yourself in my eyes.
Shut out
That's
staple
why
remover.
I'm like, yes. To
to be fair, Snubble and Granbull are two very different Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's fun because it's sort of like a story arc, right? Like it's the snooty like little pink guy, and then it like has to face the world and its horrors or whatever. Okay, this is really random, but I always forget Armaldo exists, and I do love Armaldo.
What is Armaldo?
It's one of the fossil Pokemon.
Gen 3 fossil Pokemon.
Yeah, and the first one, they're just little
Oh,
guy.
yes.
Okay, that one's not a little guy, but see, there's some Pokemon where like Shelgon by itself kind of goofy, but it makes sense in its context.
Like the line in its evolution line.
Yes, like it's you
Mm.
know what I mean? Like there's a difference between designs that I really love and designs that I think are successful. Like they meet the brief, right?
Okay. I'd say like most middle evolutions are that. If you're like, I don't think a middle evolution is anyone's favorite Pokemon.
I love Quilava. I love Charmeleon. I like Prinplup. There's a lot of the middle starters that I do enjoy.
Yeah,
Just
notice
like
how you've
angsty
mentioned
teenagers.
starters.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting a good. This show's good for like
Oh my
figuring
gosh,
out the psychology
Swadloon.
of a person.
I love Swagloon so much. Okay, Girder. I don't know, a little weird. Conkeldurr. I don't know how I feel about that one.
We've reached Gen 5.
What annoys me is that when Girder evolves into Conkeldurr, it goes to a weaker material. It goes from a steel
Yeah.
to
I hadn't thought about that, but you're so
concrete
right.
colors. Like, what are you doing?
And I would be remiss if I didn't, and this will possibly really throw us down a hole, but you guys have discussed on both sides, because obviously those listening, I have a show with Katie called Late Night, and we hang out about a bunch and play cool games. Sick plug. But I've heard from Katie while doing Late Night, or from Ben and Hudie while doing Best Rivals. You guys are like, yeah, we were talking to Katie, and Katie's got some shiny opinions, and I have no idea what that means. I don't know what these shiny opinions are, but I'm fascinated.
They're like normal opinions, but they look a little different.
So,
Have you seen like shiny Leafeon or shiny Glaceon? Those are just the ones I know off the top of my head that have this problem. Because they're bad, and they should feel bad.
I will add that nearly, I'd say a good 90% of shiny Pokemon are terrible. That's my opinion anyway.
But some of them are so good. Especially like Eevees, you'd think the Evolutions would get... I mean, maybe you don't like the fact, but it's like the Evolutions kind of get special treatment, so it's like you'd think they'd be good, because some of the best shinies are Evolutions. Umbreon's shiny slaps, Espeon's shiny slaps, Sylveon's shiny slaps. And then you just go to Glaceon and Leafeon, which are already kind of the oddball, not as used evolutions, and their shinies are no different. It's like, oh, I turned the brightness up like 5 points in Photoshop and called it a day. Like, that sucks. It's bad.
There we go.
The fire has been lit.
Well, like, if you're gonna have a shiny Pokemon, at least make it a different color. Like, what's the point if it's just the slightly different or like the same? Okay, like,
It does.
and like
I'm with you on it.
Gen 1 and 2 get like a little bit of a pass because a lot of those shinies were just determined by math of the color palette switch of however shinies were made. But like, no excuse by Gen 4. Absolutely none. Also, they've changed some of the shinies. Like, Charizard's shiny got updated. So it's like, just change it.
Shiny Espeon is green?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, exactly. Like, getting a shiny is so rare, and then it's like, you get one, and you're like, oh, that's so cool, I wonder what the evolution looks like, and it's like, stupid, and you're like, well, now I can't evolve this thing. Meanwhile, my favorite shiny that I have is a shiny Galarian Zigzagoon, and his name is Peppermint. Or Toothpaste. Oh no.
You forgot
my son's name. No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I like, I'm just looking through the Eevee line. I like shiny, this isn't one you said you didn't like. Umbreon? Even though
Umbreon, great. Umbreon's so good. Yeah.
I like that. I like that one.
I know people trash on Jolteon. I do have a soft spot for Jolteon, and I do like that its shiny is green. But that's mostly because I like Jolteon, and my favorite color is green.
Okay. I did look up shiny Leafeon, and the very first result was a Reddit post. Here are better graphics for shiny evolutions. It was like, before I even saw the shiny Leafeon, there were posts that were like, I've fixed the shiny Leafeon.
And the thing is, you don't even have to change the entire color palette if you don't want to. Like, shiny Ponyta, great. Shiny Dunsparce, very silly. Or shiny Voltorb and Electrode, that's fun, because then they're great ball colors, because they just get blue instead of red.
What annoys me, or for most of the shiny Pokemon anyway, is the transition to 3D
Oh yeah, some of them got nerfed.
Ruined many shiny Pokemon.
Like
Yeah.
it just
Cyndaquil, yeah.
I do agree.
it muted the colors just crazy.
Yes, yes. Also, like, I know they've sort of changed it a little bit in the most recent games, but the fact that they sort of have committed to the same texture for everything that's just like the weird smooth
Yeah.
doesn't help. I don't think.
It's kid friendly. It's cartoony.
Well, just like the range of colors that happen because the lighting isn't as great, so like the colors just don't pop as much in general.
Do you have some like, if you were to redesign Leafeon's shiny?
I mean, there's a couple directions you could take it.
Yeah, that's what I was curious. Because for me, I like if someone was like, "What would you change about it?" Even as an artist, I'd be like, "Make it any other color." Like,
yeah. I think it would be fun to either go like orange, do like a fall palette, or like go pink and go like a spring.
That's why you're the resident art. That's smart. You do tie it to seasons.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I'm so annoyed at myself now for not thinking of that.
Like, I was just gonna ask, what if it was purple?
Purple would also look very good. I'm like, I want to see it in fall because I like fall.
Even the connotations of having a Leafeon in fall colors, or sorry, I shouldn't have said fall colors, in autumn colors, shows that it's like, it's like dying. the leaves are dying. What? So, you know.
I guess I just also like Sawsbuck that has all the different seasonal variations. I think those are very fun. I'm kind of sad they basically abandoned the season thing.
Yeah.
For every other generation. Oh, and then apparently I was also looking over the gender differences because I also went on a rant about that when when I had my rant about shiny Pokemon to see what any new ones are, and they basically abandoned that too, and I was like, I'm kind of happy that this happened. Well, just like the list kind
of after Gen 4. Just there's no differences?
It's just
minute?
they only do it on species where it's important. So like the lions.
Okay, right, I see.
Yeah, or like
so they only do it on Pokemon where that's kind of the gimmick of them.
Yes, yeah. Which I don't mind there being other Pokemon with differences. It's just that a lot of them are bad.
I really liked the gender difference because in early Pokemon, they're like very subtle. So it kind of helped denote, I mean, not all Pokemon, but a lot of them were subtle gender differences. So it kind of denoted, you know, you knew your favorite Pokemon's gender difference, and that, you know, that gave you like a deeper connection to it.
That's cool, and like the Gen 4 Pokemon that were designed to have those differences intentionally, it works for. But most of the Gen 1 and 2 are so just tacked on afterthought because they were made, you know, generations afterwards that I don't like them, and because most of them are make the horn smaller for the girl.
Okay.
Just added size of body feature and call it a day.
Also, Pikachu, that one kind of pisses me off as well, because it's like, okay.
You don't like female Pikachu having a heart on the end of its tail?
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're gonna add a heart tail, which is a little, like, on-the-nose feminine, sure. But also, it's not a shape that appears anywhere else in the design. Like, usually you want repeated shapes to, like, have a cohesive thing throughout the whole...
Totally, yeah.
And it changes the silhouette, and it takes away from the silhouette of the tail, which is a lightning bolt, which is trying to convey one of the core concepts of the design. Like, it makes it more ambiguous of, like, what this thing is. You know? And then when it evolves into Raichu, it's just, they just cut the tip of the tail off, because they're, like, phoning it in. It's like, stupid.
Yeah, they just put a little fillet on the tail, you know? Nicely.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind, like, the Magikarp, the whiskers are different colors. That's fine. Like, if it's intentional, like Unpheasant or whatever, that's kind of fun to have. But it's like, a lot of them are just, let's take the Pokemon, make the design slightly worse, and call that the female. And I'm like, I'm offended.
Alright, Lisa. I always... The only actual gender difference that I know is Apoms, which is... their little, like, hair spike thing is different. That's the only one.
Okay,
Even when you
Wobbuffet
guys were
is
talking about
valid.
Pikachu, I was like, it has something to do with the tail. That's all I know.
Or like even Heracross. Well, okay, Heracross's once again is just put a heart on it. But like at least it's not it's still worse because like it's Heracross. Like its horn tip is a cross shape.
Yeah,
That's the
whole-
point. But at least like design wise, it's still like it's like okay, but the silhouette's just worse. Sneasel makes me sad because they just cut the little feather thing off.
Yeah, they just made female Sneasel look worse.
Yeah,
Oh,
A lot of them
it
are
doesn't have its
yeah.
feather.
and then like for some like the only Pokemon where the female became the default is like Meditite and Milotic for some reason.
Oh well, Milotic is a very feminine Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's definitely nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you definitely changed
Well,
my
one-
opinion on the gen. You're right, and it is.
Well,
pretty
like I said, the ones that
consistently
are like Bidoof is just the boys are a little fluffier.
Yeah,
And it's
who's
like
looking?
it doesn't yeah.
Who's looking at that Bidoof specifically at this angle? This is, whoever is should be put in prison.
But like the Apom one, it's like okay, that's kind of fun. It's just a lot of them follow a pattern, and then I'm just are as annoying.
Hey, Sizer, female Sizer's abdomen is larger, so they gave it a womb.
Oh no!
Don't. What if you just didn't? Think about a world in which you didn't say that out loud.
That's what they did. I looked it up.
Shannon is going to be very angry with this because there's probably an argument there about insects not having wombs, but
oh no.
you
I
know.
don't know enough about insects. Sorry, can't help you. I know they work different, but
They lay eggs.
yeah.
And like most of these, like if you encounter, say you were playing the game and you encounter a Scizor in the wild, and the gender is blocked out and you don't know what it is, you're not gonna know which gender it is. That's my main problem with it. It doesn't change anything when you
Yeah.
encounter them in a vacuum. Because when you encounter a Pokemon, the first thing you're gonna look at is the Pokemon. And if you want to make it like discernible between male and female, like commit to it and don't half-ass it.
Yeah. Like I don't mind having subtle little differences. But like, because like it is kind of fun if you're like, oh, I know my favorite Pokemons. That is fun.
Yeah, that's kind of the
But
vibe
if
I
it's
thought. they
so
had, but they're-
subtle,
Yeah.
it's either so subtle, like kind of messes up the design a little bit, or is just like completely different. I don't know. Like the
How do you
ones where
think
it's
that
like a
happens?
color
How do you think
change.
they make it and ruin the? Is it just because someone else designed the gender difference then the person that designed the Pokemon, so they just weren't aware?
It
Well, just
probably
like-
is someone that came in after the fact and said, okay, we're doing this with other Pokemon. Let's go back and just revisit everything and make everything worse.
Yeah, it's definitely like we've made a design and we didn't leave space for there to be a difference. So now we gotta figure out how to fit one in, if that makes sense.
I see.
Like-
Yes.
Like it's this is a very bizarre way to say this, but it's much cheaper if you're making a building to design in a ramp than to add a ramp to an existing building.
Yeah,
It's much cheaper to build it, right the first time.
See, that requires foresight and actual planning, which,
Well, and with this, Gen 1 and 2, like Gen 1, gender didn't exist in Pokemon, so they had Nidoran, and that was its
yeah,
thing,
that's true.
right? And then they introduced gender as a thing in Gen 2, I believe.
was.
But they
Because
didn't
then
introduce...
you could make the Pokemon breed.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you could, but they didn't introduce the gender differences until like 4. So you have 3 generations of designs where there was just no concept of this existing. So like some of the more subtle ones in Gen, like Buizel has a spot on the back, and then the other
Yeah.
one has 2 spots or whatever.
I
There's just
saw
not
that
stuff
one.
like that built in that would work, because it wasn't, they didn't plan it out like that. Like, Ursaring is apparently just a little bit of shorter fur or whatever, and it's like, well, they could have done a different, like, ring thing, I guess, if they wanted to, but it's sort of like what do you change on that Pokemon looking at it? You're like, what would be different? I don't know.
Even some of the Gen 4 differences, like Krogunk, is just his bandages are a little higher.
Yeah, that I was staring at that one for a while. Like, what is the difference here? I don't know.
Yeah, you have to line up the black ring on its shoulder.
Which is that was one that was designed with. It's strange.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
but then like the hippos are color difference, and it's like, okay, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how I feel about the Garchomp lines.
You see, it's
In
because
general,
No, it's a notch on their like fin.
yeah,
is
it's
the
because
difference.
the males are more violent and fight a lot, so they are battle hardened and
I
battle
see.
scarred. And the female Garchomp line stays at home and cooks the dinner, looks after the children.
As it should.
Whoa! I do not condone. I do not condone anything that has just been said. Let the record show I am a staunch
Busy,
feminist.
No one actually cares.
You are rolling with the feminism squad.
Yeah.
this league, right?
Yeah.
The feminism squad and Exodus the male Espeon. That's-
Let's go. We love women. Is this just the feminist episode? Has Katie brought it from coffee to feminism?
I think it's also a problem if the one time it's a woman is around, it is the feminist episode.
No, that's how it works. That's why we brought you on.
Well,
'Cause who else would
it-
talk
it-
about it?
Okay.
Yeah. To be fair, we are warned before every episode by Ben that we're not allowed to show support to women
He doesn't.
whatsoever.
He
course,
doesn't.
of course.
He's not a feminist. It's.
Yeah.
Is
he
it a
can't say-
problem? 'Cause, like, I thought it was a problem, but we just.
Yeah. We've been suffering in silence here.
Yeah.
We want to show solidarity now.
it's so stupid.
Ben cannot know until this episode is released.
He's gonna watch this episode and go, "Wow, I was expecting. They had a little dig at me about going to space at the start, but they really didn't." And then just get to the end of the episode, and go, "There it is. There it is. Now, there it is."
Amazing.
Also, we'll be recording the next episode before this one comes out, so we can try to set him up for it.
Oh man.
Yeah, make him talk about how Nidoking's so much better than Nidoqueen.
Perfect. There we go.
Probably will not be hard, because that's like one of his favorites, right?
Mhm, that is his
Yeah.
all-time favorite. Yeah.
We abandoned the me going over the other questions really quickly. Was there any other that you wanted that were pressing?
I got the answers I want. I don't know if Hughy has
Okay.
ones he's curious on. There's
I'm
some that
just
are like
vibing.
require a lot of thought, like what would your gym be? But that's like,
Yeah.
like I'm not
I
gonna
do
throw
have
you
an
on the
answer
spot.
for that one, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think I would go. I think it would be fun to have like a ghost gym that's set up as like a murder mystery theater where you're presented
Oh.
with a situation and you have to like figure out the culprit, and if you get it wrong it just turns into a ghost and fights you. And then when you get it right it's a trainer that fights you because you've just accused them of whatever crime. You probably couldn't do murder, so it's probably like who stole the pecha berries or whatever.
Who
'Cause
ate
it's a
the
Pokemon
cake?
game. And everyone's in
Who's-
like masquerade outfits, yeah.
Who's peeping on the gym?
And it's very silly.
And that would be a ghost
No.
type, which is your favorite.
Exactly. That's I don't know if it's my favorite, but I do like a lot of ghost types. I don't know. Yes, probably. I don't know. Favorites are hard. I'm like, you want me to choose one?
Yeah, I got the psychological profile in, so I'm happy.
Whether or not eyes are okay.
Yeah.
Hughy knows appropriately now how to ask for $5 from you.
What does that mean?
That's what you do. You psychologically evaluate people so you know when to ask for things.
Okay.
That's what I do. That's how I know. Just know that when I asked for $5 and I just happened to be wearing sunglasses at the time and a fancy hat, like that makes you go, look at this little guy.
You specifically styled your hair so it's covering your eyes.
See, I don't think you would need that to get me to give you $5, even if you were trying to trick me into it. But sure.
Is there any things like opinions or anything else you want to go over during your brief spotlight in the Best Rivals?
Ben is a villain. He is evil. He destroyed my team with a Togekiss and should be punished.
I mean, it's been long enough now. Do we talk? Because you are the victim of the Togekiss. This could be.
We could do another episode on the Togekiss, you know.
we do a whole. We could. Yeah. There was an incident and
an incident. Bullying is what it is.
It was, yeah.
The audacity. The lengths you had to go to get a Togekiss that week in Pokemon, because it's a lure, so it's a 5% chance, and then you need 5% chance to get the stone to get it to be a Togekiss, and then you have to raise the happiness of the Togepi to max to evolve it into a Togetic. So you have to go through all this effort to get a Togekiss, which then just utterly destroyed my team because it got like 3 Calm Minds in, which after the first one, like, why?
Yeah,
what's even the point? It swept my entire team because I didn't remember. It's partially my fault because I didn't remember that my Crobat had Haze.
Okay.
Which would have, I think I still would have lost, but it wouldn't have been that bad. And then, cause he felt bad for everybody being angry at him because he had just murdered my Pokemon, then he gives it to me! Mm-hmm. He gives me the Togekiss, and then takes my Exeggutor, who I didn't even get to use, basically, because he just got deleted. And then he's like, don't worry, I'll cook with it. Like, I'll redeem this Pokemon. And I was like, you better. And then he wins his fight and just gives it away the next week.
I think the league, this group that we have for the league is good because we are always going to band behind whoever loses. We're always on the we're full support of underdogs here. I guess it's a result of the first league and Shannon being such a champion at the end that we're just looking for who, you know.
Who's next to inherit?
I mean, I will say I did start beef with as many people as possible, and now I'm reaping the what I've sown.
For you,
but
Katie has been. I think we talked about it briefly in the Johto recap episode, but Katie has a tally of who has cheated, and will sometimes just add someone to that tally. Like, Connor has been added to it, even though he didn't do anything, and you're like, he'll do something, and then I won't have to add to it. And Connor's just like, what the hell?
Hey, if he makes it through without, I'll take it off, and then he'll be redeemed slightly, but he's still in the lead on that tally, yeah. So, I don't know, I think it's fine.
I personally don't think it should be removed.
Okay. Just there's one tally for the thought crimes.
Yeah. The thought of doing
intent to commit.
All I'm learning here is there's so much more we can talk to Katie about in terms of Best Rivals. We will have to get you on for another episode, even if it's just to talk about Ben being a villain. You can easily fill 40 minutes
opinions.
With that. Yeah, or Pokemon. We can talk about Pokemon, I guess.
At some point, we can go more hardcore into specific Pokemon designs rather than the overview. If you want.
We do have ideas with Katie, that we will definitely do. Very fun stuff that'll involve visual elements. Ooh.
Ooh.
We will utilize your artistic abilities.
I pride myself on the ability to have the reader paint what we're trying to explain in their mind with the smithing of my words.
I like it when we looking at Bear Drop and stuff. I like it when I have to actively do something for this, just because I don't know, it's fun.
You want a challenge? You want a scavenger hunt? We can make you a little ARG.
Yeah.
A Pokemon ARG. I actually did. Now we're getting. Whatever. I can't. I did a game jam and I designed a game that was basically Pokemon, but it was a treasure hunt. So you had to go around and find pictures of the Pokemon, and then you'd scan the picture of the Pokemon with your phone and get that. It wasn't Pokemon; it was animals. But if we made it a game, it would just be like, Pokemon, Digimon, and then that's how you would get them. So it was like Pokemon Go, except you actually had to physically find an attribute. It was cool. I just had to do my spiel. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for filling in for Ben. If his ship to, I don't know where I think he's just going out to space and coming back.
Yeah, he's going to the misogyny planet. That's where his course is set for.
Man. If he doesn't come back, we'll have to bring you back. And if Hudie or I perish briefly, we'll get you back. We'll find some way to shoehorn you back in here. Thanks for listening, grunts. I hope you guys enjoyed. Give some comments below about any opinions you've gotten from this episode. What's your opinion on feminism? That's what I want. Start a conversation below about feminism.
I want to know everybody's favorite and least favorite shinies.
Okay,
That's what I want to know.
That's a good question. That won't start a dumpster fire. Do that instead. Thanks for listening. Goodbye and kisses from me. Katie, this is where you say either give kisses or don't give kisses. I didn't believe you. I'm sorry.
I've sort of just entered the Grunts live, so I don't know if we're up to that yet. Mm-hmm. So I'll give you like an awkward side hug from me. How's that?
That's good. That's good. Oh, he's thinking about it.
I was thinking about it. Yeah, and they're gonna have a shortage of kisses if it's just Michael.
Oh, I'll supply the kisses if needed.
Okay.
I want the grunts to cast their mind back to the start of the episode and ponder on if the kisses are truly worth it.
I genuinely didn't know what was happening. Commitment from me.
Exactly.